Welcome back, everyone. Sheepdog Smokey here, and I almost called this when I read the story originally, and I'm not surprised by it at all. It seems that Representative Ocasio-Cortez is not exactly happy that a very wealthy man who is an alumnus of Morehouse College decided that this year's graduating class would graduate debt free. He was going to personally pay off all their debts to the tune of $40 million, roughly. But of course, Miss Ocasio Cortez, one of the loudest proponents of pure socialism and nothing else, had this to say. Every Morehouse class of 2019 student is getting their student debt load paid off by their commencement speaker. This could be the start of what's known in econ as natural experiment. Follow these students and compare their life choices with their peers. But you'll notice right here that she goes on to say, it is important to note that people shouldn't be in a situation where they depend on a stranger's enormous act of charity for this kind of liberation to begin with, aka college should be affordable, but it is an incredible act of community investment in the system as it is. She's talking out of both sides of her mouth here. In the first tweet, she says that, well, college should be affordable. We shouldn't need this. But I'm going to do the politically correct thing and say thank you anyway. This is one of the Democrats' biggest pushes is, and if you've listened to Bernie or any of them, free college is their ultimate promise. Now, I will admit that, yes, college is rather expensive. And while there are differences in public and private colleges, it is something that should prepare you for a career where you're going to make enough to pay back any debt you take out. You look at medical doctors, you look at attorneys, uh, those type of careers. Typically, those careers you come out with massive debt because you're in college well beyond your bachelor's degree. But you generally can bet on a very high five. I'm talking in the like $90 to $95,000 a year jobs to start. Very few of them, after just a year or two, maybe three, of basically proving they know what they're doing, don't make six figures and very good six figures. And on the one hand, yes, they're saving lives and they are defending the innocent and they are ensuring that the guilty are served justice. So they should not be paid minimum wage. And this is not because, as Ms. Ocasio Cortez would contend, or any of the other socialists, that it's a broken system. It's because those jobs are valued. Now, I will admit that, yes, there are a lot of people in law school. A lot. So this trend may be changing for attorneys who are just starting out. Many of them get internships or they get brought on as a clerk or something like that by a judge, and they don't make really, really good money for many years. There are those who go into the military, into the Judge Advocate General Corps, and they make whatever their rank makes, and that's that. Doctors in the military are the same, but doctors come out, and once they specialize and they've gone past their residency, typically make good money, and there's not a lot of people in medical school. But there are a lot of students in high school right now, and most of them are being told, go to college, go to college, you gotta go to college, you gotta go to college. No, you don't. 1995, I graduated high school. My parents wanted me to go to college, so I registered at the local community college. Signed up, scheduled my classes, bought my books, everything. Went to class for the first 2 days. Went to one class each. Decided it wasn't for me, went to work. Now, I was rather stupid and did not drop the classes so I could get my refund and all that. So it was a waste of money, and I did actually have a 0.00 GPA at the end of that semester, which meant I was on SCOPRO, Scholastic Probation. Not allowed to return for several years, and I didn't care. I was working. I was actually making pretty good money because I was in retail management for a rather large drugstore company with a photo lab in them, Eckerd, to date myself a bit. And I was making really good money for someone just out of high school. Got myself a credit card, got myself a new car, uh, a beeper at the time because we didn't have readily available cellular phones. And I was living good. I mean, I was enjoying life, going out with my friends anytime I wanted, all of it. Ultimately, though, just about 3 years later, that good job was gone. And there was a problem. I didn't have the money to pay for what I needed to pay for. Luckily, I was able to fall back on family for a place to live. I was able to find another job that would at least pay the minimum bills I needed to. And that's when I started bouncing around, and I moved around a lot. It wasn't until 2004, after a reduction in forced layoff from a really good job, and they took care of me. I walked with 2 months' salary, my benefits covered for 6 months, and I'm sitting there going, okay, I have breathing room, and I went back to school. I planned on getting my history degree, which I did, brought my 0.00 GPA up to a 3.71, I believe, which my academic advisor told me was almost unheard of to do, although I should have done academic fresh start, but I didn't. Probably would have had a 3.85 or 3.9. But did that, went out, took the content mastery test, and gained my certification to teach history, actually secondary social studies, which in my area makes pretty good money. And unfortunately, secondary social studies is only taught by coaches. One of the most important areas of study is taught part-time. So I ended up in the IT world, and given another probably 3 years of raises, it won't be economically feasible for me to start teaching. And it's very sad. I could have gotten this job without ever having darkened the door of a college. A lot of my coworkers either have degrees like mine that are irrelevant to the job or don't have them. We simply have relevant experience. And that's what people like Ocasio-Cortez and Sanders and the rest openly hate, is that there is not a universal need for college. The thing is, what they know is twofold. They know that college is not inexpensive and that students will come out with a lot of debt. And they will look to the people who are saying, I'm going to forgive your debt. I'm going to raise the taxes on the rich to just wipe out all the student debt. That way you can have a breather on life. And they also know that colleges, by and large today, are indoctrination centers to make good little liberals. You need only look at some of the larger state schools, University of Texas at Austin, even UT at Arlington, to a point. You see Berkeley, NYU, and the rest, and they are 90% liberal. Graduating from from any of those after 4 years and not being a rabid liberal is a massive achievement. And they know they have to indoctrinate, and they do this. And then once you're out and you start to realize, I didn't need this degree to get a job because I can't get a job. There is a post that goes around on Imager every now and then of a Starbucks barista who has a zoology degree and is working at Starbucks. I don't know if it's true or not, but the analogy is basically you go to college for 4 to 5, 6 years, you get out and you're working a minimum wage job. And liberals like Ocasio-Cortez and Sanders and the rest, they know this is going to happen, and they depend on it. What we need to do is promote things like this, where someone is incredibly generous. This man is a billionaire and chose to go to he's worth 4.4 billion. Here you can see, although I don't know why pluralist needs to say he's making him the richest black person in the U.S. He's just a man. And you can see he pledged $50 million to Cornell University, his alma mater, and $20 million to the National Museum of African American History and Culture. And you can see here that he's also here told the Morehouse College of 2019 he would be covering their bills. This man has now spent over $100 million, 40 million at least of it going directly to students to pay off their debt and give them that breather, give them that time to find their career. And that's a very generous move. And this is honestly what a capitalist society should be. I can guarantee you this man is not stupid. He's not just giving away money. This will be listed on his taxes as gifts or donations or whatnot. And he's going to continue making money because obviously he's a very gifted businessman. And You can tell by the picture he's probably in his late 50s, maybe early 50s, and little Miss 29-year-old AOC, bartender who's never had a job that depended on a college degree in her life, is just not happy at all that we're not a socialist country. And none of the Democrats in office will be until we are, because they know that as soon as socialism is implemented in the U.S., it is just a matter of almost days. Well, I would say probably a couple of years before the country either fractures or there is just riots everywhere. And either way, they will try to implement martial law. They will declare themselves rulers. And this is why it's so important that, one, we rescue the education system. We have people talking about how they're going to make sure that teachers get a raise. Well, the federal government, as of right now, has zero say in what teachers are paid. It's up to state and local governments. Here in Texas, yes, there are some state funds, but school districts are, for the most part, run by the local county school boards, okay, independent school districts. There are taxes levied on property. There are bonds that are passed where it is a tax raised otherwise. And that's how education is funded. And liberals depend on you not knowing this. For crying out loud, Bernie Sanders, just in a tweet not too long ago, said, "We are a country that can pay athletes millions but not pay our teachers," ignoring that the federal government has zero say in either. When you look at Dirk Nowitzki or you look at uh, anyone, but let's use Dirk. He's been playing for 20 years. He draws people in droves to see the games. So Mark Cuban pays him very well, and Mark Cuban makes a lot of money off of the Dallas Mavericks. And that is capitalism in action. When it comes to teachers, again, it's local, county, city, and state officials who take care of education. And idiots like AOC are just banking on you not knowing this. But I've talked long enough. Let me know what you think in the comments. Remember, though, keep it civil. We don't learn from argument, we learn from debate. As always, please remember to like and share this video, as well as to subscribe and turn on notifications so that you are among the first to know of all new content as it is posted. Until next time, everyone have a wonderful day.